Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sharing Vietnam on VTC10 NetViet channel. Today we will have a conversation with Mr. Dante Brandi, Consul General of Italia in Ho Chi Minh City, and we will talk about the advantages after the signing of the EVFTA. Hello, Mr. Dante.
Thank you for the invitation.
And can you share with us some memorable milestones that Vietnam and Italy have had in the recent years?
I would definitely mention that Italy and Vietnam has always had a great partnership and relationship since the beginning. We marked on 2013 a strategic partnership agreement between the two countries, and last year we marked the 45th anniversary of the establishment of the diplomatic relations between Italy and Vietnam. So these are just occasions where we have the right memory on the strengthening of our bilateral cooperation, the friendship between our two people, and the close relations in all fields, from political fields to the economic one to the cultural one.
And among these memorable milestones, there should be the Vietnam and EU free trade agreement that has been signed.
Yes, absolutely. It's not only an achievement that Vietnam and the European Union has reached, but is also the starting point of an even stronger trade and commercial relation between the two parties. Italy is ready to take part to this, to the potential opportunities that will come from this agreement, and of course we are ready to develop the bilateral trade between the two countries and the investments that could flow from one country to the other. There is already a strong economic presence of Italian companies in Vietnam. I am pretty sure that the free trade agreement will boost this presence and will also help having more Vietnamese products in Europe and in Italy as well.
Yeah, and according to you, after the signing, how it would be favorable for the export of Vietnamese goods to the Italian market and vice versa?
Well, the free trade agreement has the provision to reduce the trade barriers between the two parties in a huge dimension. So there will be a lot of opportunities right away at the moment of the entry into force of the agreement for many Vietnamese products, but also there will be other products that will be liberalized in tariffs in the near future, between 5 and 7 or 9 and 10 years. So it will be a progressive agreement, but with an immediate effect for many products. And estimations of the European Commission has already clarified that most probably it will be the Vietnamese products to be the most beneficiary at the beginning of this process. But of course, a trade agreement will be beneficial for both parties. And this one is particularly ambitious because it relates to many products, from food to pharmaceutical, from machinery to automotive, and it will boost the economic relations between the two parties. I'm sure Italy will be a good market for Vietnamese products, as already is for many of them: footwear, food, fish, so many other products. And I'm sure Vietnam will be a market destination for many more Italian products in the years to come.
EVFTA consists of 17 chapters, 2 protocols, and a number of accompanying memorandum of understanding on trade in goods and service, investment, competition, state-owned enterprises, government procurement, intellectual property. It is considered a great opportunity for Vietnam to expand its operations in Europe a market with more than 400 million people, with a total GDP of 18.8 trillion US dollars, accounting for 22% of the world GDP. EVFTA is a new generation FTA with a wide range of commitments and high levels of commitments. Accordingly, Vietnamese businesses will have more opportunities to access the European market.
EVFTA is almost enter to force. We are waiting that Europe, the European Parliament, approve the final vote for this EFTA between Europe and Vietnam. We hope that will be enter in force in the beginning of 2020. So this means we still very few months of that. This means big opportunities for both companies, for the Vietnamese company to Europe and the European company. In this case, we talk about Italian.
EVFTA will eliminate 99% of Vietnam's tariff lies to the EU, and the remaining 1% will be removed through the tariff quotas. This will be a ticket for small and medium enterprises to compete in the market. Vietnam also pledged to immediately remove 48.5% of tariff lies for EU goods 7 years after being approved. The number of tariff lies to be removed increases to 91%, and after 10 years of tariff elimination, the rate is about 98.3% of tariff lies. Vietnamese consumers will have the opportunity to consume and access European products at competitive prices. One of the notable points in this FTA is that exports to the EU market can be eliminated up to 99% of tariffs. Vietnamese businesses will have more opportunities to increase the price competitiveness of goods when importing and exporting to this important market area. Regarding imports, Vietnamese businesses will also benefit from being able to import goods and materials with good and stable quality at a more reasonable price from the EU.
And how about the challenges before the EVFTA has been signed?
Well, challenges are of course related to the ratification process, because the agreement is not in place yet. It has been signed, of course, in a ceremony last July, but we still are waiting for the ratification from the two parliaments, the European Parliament and the National Assembly in Vietnam. But also there will be challenges in setting up the related certification for Vietnamese products, and also to raise awareness in a way in both parties on the potential of the agreement, because I don't think every business either in Vietnam or in the European Union know about the potential of this agreement, the openness of the two markets, and the opportunities that could be catched when the agreement will be into force. So I think in first place there will be the big challenge will be to raise awareness among the businesses both in Vietnam and in the European Union about the potential of this agreement.
Can you tell us which Vietnamese goods are interested in the Italian market? And in order for these products to enter the Italian market, do you have any advices?
There is already a very flourishing flow of Vietnamese food products to Italy, especially fisheries. So fish and seafood in general is a natural is already a natural product which is very popular in the Italian market, and it will be even boosted when the agreement will be in place. But I'm sure there will be more opportunities also for other products like fruit or vegetables, tropical ones that we don't have in Italy, for example. since Vietnam is pretty popular in Italy as a country, as a touristic destination, as a partner, as a trade partner, an investment partner, I think potential is there for having more Vietnamese products in our market, and vice versa, of course. I think the Vietnamese market is ready to accept and to be open to more Italian products in all sectors.
Can you share your projects in the last month of 2019 to promote trading activities between Ho Chi Minh City and southern provinces of Vietnam with Italian businesses and vice versa?
Our last, more recent activities has been devoted to promote, for example, our food and beverage in Vietnam, because we see potential not only in the hospitality industry, but also in the distribution chains, in the great distribution chains, in retail, in the big markets for opening up to Italian products. We devoted our attention to a sector which is sometimes neglected by the media or in the common opinion, but which is very important, which is machinery, because it's the largest voice of our export in Vietnam. So we have a higher trade volume than France with Vietnam, exactly because of the machinery we sell to the Vietnamese manufacturers. So we devoted our attention there through the creation of training centers in sectors like footwear or in centers like technology and Industry 4.0, and in sectors like marble or the extraction industry in marbles, because our machineries and our manufacturing industry in Italy is very attentive to the Vietnamese market.
Thank you for your sharings today.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. See you next time.